On May 28, 1999, Universal Orlando's Islands of Adventure opened to the public. The resort's second amusement park would introduce a new park that was split into 7 different lands. Those lands would be the Port of Entry, Seuss Landing, the Lost Continent, Merlinwood, Jurassic Park, Toon Lagoon, and Marvel's Superhero Island. Out of all these lands that opened with the park, we've only seen the demise of one of them. That land would be Merlinwood. Though Merlinwood was a part of the Lost Continent island, its themes and interactions would act as its own island. The Lost Continent would be home to Poseidon's Fury, an interactive show that would contain massive show scenes and amazing special effects. However, Merlinwood was home to one of the park's largest attractions yet. The ride would be none other than Dueling Dragons. This coaster wasn't just an icon in the park, it was an icon around the world. When it opened, it was known as the world's first inverted dueling coaster, and now it's known as the only scrapped B&M roller coaster. So why did this ride close? Let's fall deep into the history to understand the story behind Dueling Dragons. Dueling Dragons was an opening day attraction at Universal's newest park, Islands of Adventure. It would be one out of the other 3 opening day roller coasters for this park. The other coasters would be Pteranodon Flyers, a set point suspended family coaster, the Incredible Hulk, a B&M launch sit down coaster, and of course Dueling Dragons, a B&M dueling inverted coaster. This coaster would consist of 2 different sides. Each side would deliver a completely different experience. The ride would be themed to, well, Dueling Dragons. The queue is decorated as a ruined castle that the 2 dragons destroyed. When you arrived at the station, you had a decision to make. You could either ride the Ice Dragon or the Fire Dragon. While the 2 coasters would share one massive station, right before you enter you would split into your chosen side. This would follow up by switchbacks and row siding. Let's start with the Ice Dragon. The coaster would start with a small turn out of the station and would begin to climb the 125-foot lift hill. After a small pre-drop, the ride would hit a quick bank turn to the right and dive down the 95-foot drop. The ride would then hit a large upward bank turn to the right, and after this, it would hit a snappy 0G roll right under the other coaster. After this, the ride would go into a cobra roll that would follow up with the most iconic part of the ride. The ride would hit a vertical loop that would perfectly duel with the other side. The ride would twist to the right and hit a corkscrew that perfectly dueled as well, and following this, the ride would go through 2 more bank turns until it hits the brakes. Now for the Fire side. This ride would start the same way as the Ice side. After the pre-drop, the ride would hit a 115-foot bank drop to the left and hit a powerful Immelman. After a large airtime hill, it hits another intense Immelman. However, right after the half loop, it would transition into a downward helix wrapping around it. It will then enter the vertical loop that perfectly duels with the other side, and following a small bank turn, the coaster will go into a corkscrew that perfectly duels. The ride will then hit another snappy bank turn into a straight section, and after this, it will hit one final corkscrew and one more bank turn into the brakes. While both sides are 125 feet tall, shared a track length of 3,200 feet, and had 5 inversions, the speed and drop size would be the only inequality. The Ice Dragon had a 95-foot drop and hit a top speed of 55 miles per hour, while the Fire Dragon would have a 115-foot drop and hit a top speed of 60 miles per hour. When Islands of Adventure opened, the park and the coaster were a huge success. Merlinwood would later get the Flying Unicorn, a Vekoma Jr. coaster that was built in 2000. In 2007, however, Universal announced that they have signed a deal with J.K. Rowling and the Harry Potter franchise to soon build the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. During the construction phase of the Wizarding World, Dueling Dragons would stay open, but it would close for a short period of time in 2010 to update the queue, station, and new entrance for this coaster. On June 18, 2010, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter would open to the public. The new land would include the interactive Hogsmeade and Ollivander's Show. Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey would also open as the park's new e-ticket attraction, the Flying Unicorn would be rethemed to Flight of the Hippogriff, and Dueling Dragons would be renamed and rethemed to Dragon's Challenge. The new theme would consist of a new entrance and an updated queue with theming set to the Harry Potter series, and new names for each of the dragons. The Ice Dragon would now be known as the Hungarian Horntail, and the Fire Dragon would now be known as the Chinese Fireball. These names would be from The Goblet of Fire, the book and movie from the Harry Potter series, where Harry and the other champions would have to fight against in the Triwizard Tournament. The layout, trains, and color scheme didn't change at all, and most of the elements in the queue and station would stay the same. I vividly remember Merlinwood and the iconic entrance in front of Dueling Dragons, and I would not get my first ride on this iconic coaster until 2015. However, after an incident involving someone's phone hitting a man's face, the park decided to stop the coaster from dueling for good. I got my first ride on Dragon's Challenge in October 2015, and on my first ride, I only rode the Hungarian Horntail side. I love this coaster after my first ride, so on my next visit, I rode the Chinese Fireball side, which to this day is still my favorite B&M invert. I would continue to ride this coaster non-stop until the unfortunate news in September of 2017. Fans of the ride after the dueling stopped were saying that it just felt like a generic B&M coaster, and that it never really belonged in the wizarding world. Because of this, the ride would never have a wait time over 10 minutes. So in July of 2017, Universal Orlando had to make the unfortunate announcement that Dragon's Challenge would close permanently on September 4th, 2017. While everyone saw it coming, fans of the ride like myself were devastated to see an opening day attraction leave the park for good. I took my last ride on Dragon's Challenge on September 3rd, 2017, and took my final flight as a champion on both sides of this astonishing coaster. After the ride closed, construction began immediately. The plot of land where Dragon's Challenge once was is now an Intamin family-launched coaster known as Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventures. While I do love this new attraction with all my heart, it will never compare to the only dueling inverted coaster that is truly one unforgettable ride. Thank you guys for watching this video. This is one of my newest segments I am introducing to my channel, The Story Behind. Comment down below if you have any coasters or attractions you want me to do the story behind of. So this was Hunter from Theme Park Hunting. Make sure to subscribe. I'll see you guys later and follow the thrill.